It's a difficult art to dissect PR for what it is, and to be willing to flat out call something that is very much false does take balls. Fortunately, I've got them, and I'm calling out Bungie because it's like they're making it their life goal to alienate their longtime critical fans and instead coddle the drooling masses. Bungie recently came out to try and dispel the long-rumoured 10-year plan the Destiny series has had. Before we even get into it, I'm going to be clear that in spite of what Bungie said, I still believe that there is a master plan for Destiny. My reasons for believing this will be covered later, with the sources in the description as well. For now, let's address the statement made by Bungie community and marketing relations manager Eric Osborne, who appears to be arguing semantics and words. Those things were so distracting, and not about the experience we were creating. It just became the narrative. I mean, I drive a Honda Civic. I don't know shit about $500 million. A 10-year plan? It's a 10-year partnership agreement. It has nothing to do with the development of the game proper. Except it probably does. When a recording artist signs with a label, are you gonna sit there and tell me there's no discussion at all about what the actual agreement will entail in terms of the contract? Really? He continues. To think that somehow, before Destiny had shipped, we had some 10-year plan written down somewhere? It's comical. We allowed the narrative to get constructed that Bungie is just a corporate entity, and not a bunch of humans, a collection of people who are just trying to make a really great game. First off, we know this is very untrue. For any of you who follow the legendary composer Marty O'Donnell's lawsuit against Bungie for wrongful termination, certain documents had been disclosed. One particularly damning document was a release plan for the entire series. Codenamed Project Tiger, this document showed that the 4 retail games within Destiny would be released 2 years apart, starting from 2013. The game released in 2014, but to me, the 2013 date does make sense. It's corroborated by the fact that the game was very obviously changed substantially the year before its release, what with content being shown before that time not in the game, the leak on Reddit that got taken down when other similar leaks weren't because they were false, like Old Chicago not being in the game and certain cutscenes, Marty O'Donnell's termination, and Joseph Staten leaving the project in late 2013 for reasons that didn't make sense. This all ended on September 30th, 2020, with the release of Comet 4, which I'm betting will be some massive bundle that includes all of Destiny's content. Now, we know the Taken King was codenamed Comet, so that would mean Destiny was planned from the beginning to release 2 years apart, with a major DLC pack released within each gap year, which aligns with Activision's trademark annual release structure all the way until 2020, exactly 10 years after Bungie finished with Halo. So, you actually did have it written down. We saw it. Even without this, to suggest that Activision, a company that, regardless of how much you may hate them, is run by financial geniuses, wouldn't think that far ahead in time is in fact comical. Eric Osborne. It's ludicrous to suggest that planning ahead of time on a massive project is unheard of in the world we live in. You may think it's a passion project, but it is a project with hundreds of millions of dollars being put into it. Are you going to tell me that Apple are only thinking about what they're doing right now and not years into the future? Do you think Microsoft got together and just said, hey, how about we make Windows 10 today? Jeff Bezos, a CEO I actually respect the hell out of, talked about the school of long-term thinking. He said, we can't realize our potential as people or as companies unless we plan for the long term. He's spot on. Bungie is a studio of 500 people. That's nearly 5 times more people than the teams that worked on the Halo games. They aren't just some small development team creating a passion project in their garage or bedroom anymore. They are a company. And no company can survive without planning. To suggest that they're just making this up as they go along is nuts. You can just look at Destiny and see, at least in the field of marketing, it has been meticulously planned. DLC packs strategically placed certain distances apart for maximum revenue, the Taken King being released as a full expansion exactly a year after the base game. You're telling me this wasn't planned? I'm beginning to dislike Bungie, which makes me upset because before Destiny, Bungie were the pinnacle of what a AAA developer should be, respecting their fans, being transparent, providing free DLC, and focusing on creating a good game instead of a game so commercially viable, the artistic merit of the project has been flat out ruined. And maybe I wouldn't be so frustrated with these guys if it weren't for the fact that they have been so patronizing to gamers. Remember that interview with Luke Smith where he acted like a complete knob and essentially said, "We know that people will rebuy what we already own for some dances, so screw it, let's do that." When I play Destiny, I see no passion. All I see is what could have been an amazing game, so obviously neutered and changed for the sole purpose of commercial success. We know that you changed the game. In a 2013 walkthrough, you said there was player trading and gambling. That's not in the game. You showed environments like the forest in the first trailer of the game. That's not in Destiny. DLC content was locked on the disc, and now you've had leaks revealing your release plan on paper, and you still want to sit here and tell me that you're just a passionate studio of people trying to create a good game? Maybe that was the case when you started working on Destiny, but that's not the case anymore.